And yet we find that in this week's Parsha it says, Vayas Betzalel. Betzalel made. He had hundreds, perhaps thousands of helpers. How is it that the Torah tells us Betzalel made the Mishkan? So Rashi explains, based upon what the rabbis tell us, that Betzalel was more devoted to the work than anyone else, and therefore was called in his name because he was the one that made sure that everything was exactly correct. Well, fast forward this to Parshas Naso. It says, Vayibiyam kalos Moshe lahakim es hamishkan. The day that Moses stopped setting up the Mishkan. So wait a second, Moses had a lot of help as well. So Rashi says because Moses was so totally devoted on the work of the Mishkan that everything should be exactly right, it's called in his name. Now wait a second. Either the one who was totally devoted is Betzalel, and Moses shouldn't be given the credit, or Moses and Betzalel shouldn't be given credit. And if they're both equal, so the Torah should have expressed that Moses and Betzalel made the Mishkan. Why does the Torah do this and divide it between the two? What's the difference? And the answer is that there's a difference between someone who makes the business and someone who runs the business. The CEO and the foreman, they both have a major part in getting the business started, making sure that the business is working. But the CEO is the idea person, if he's the originator, the founder of the company. He's the idea person. And he makes sure that everything should be done in a particular vision. Then he gets the best people possible to actualize his vision. That's like the difference between the architect and the artisan. The architect makes the plans, the artisans bring the plan into fruition. So it's two separate kinds of devotion. Moses was devoted in the planning, making sure that the systems worked. And the artisan who was most careful with the instructions that he was given, made sure that this was a holy work that God would be proud of with every detail, was Betzalel. He was totally devoted to every little detail. But there's another possibility over here, because Moses could have made plans, architectural plans, draftsman plans, and then Moses could have also explained it logically how certain geometric principles are followed. Moses also could have explained the differences in the different types of materials used. Gold has one type of nature, silver is slightly different, as is brass or copper. They're all precious metals, but they work differently. In order to make an artifact, you have to know the difference between them, how they're put together, how you can work with them. And Moses knew those things and taught that to them. But I believe that what happened was that Moses shared the words of God with them, and in the process gave them the insight and the feeling as to what it was like when he received those words from God. He didn't just tell them the words, he gave them this incredible divine experience. And once they had the instructions with the divine experience, Moses then trusted them and empowered them to make the right decisions. And the only one who actually was able to sense the power, the drama, the holiness, the godly experience was Betzalel. All the others needed technical support. They were all wise men, they were all great men, holy men, but they were not prophets. Betzalel, his insight was prophetic. He was able to capture the holiness, the godliness that Moses was conveying. And as such, Betzalel was able to make things and do things on his own. And Moses agreed with every one of Betzalel's decisions. And so although the other craftsmen were brilliant and talented and devoted, the only one who could evaluate and do things on his own was Betzalel, because only he grasped the divine message in every one of Moses' instructions. And so Moses was singled out for giving the instructions to each one of the artisans. More than that, he explained and presented and devoted himself so that they could all feel what he felt when God spoke to him. However, the only one who could feel that, who learned to feel that, and was able to grasp the inner light and the inner meaning of what Moses was communicating was Betzalel. The teacher is lauded for his devotion to his students, but the student who is able to grasp what the teacher intended is also lauded. And the lesson that we can learn from that is that it's not enough to explain something to someone. You must be passionate about it and try to give over the spirit of the concept, the life of the concept that you're with. You must be passionate about what you believe in. You must feel excited about the values that you hold dear. And only then will it be absorbed properly. And then you could trust and empower the next generation to go do what you hold dear. And that's what the Rebbe was with his shluchim. He trusted us because we would get it right. We would get the message that he gave to us correctly as he had received it on high.